resting on a flower board, a quiet tool acting as a kitchen lord. We pushed it hard, flattening the heavy dough, a rigid roll, learning how the movements go. It caught the fold, tearing up an even space. A stubborn wood, sitting in a quiet place. But passing days polished up the rigid grain, a steady roll washing out the early pain. The surface shines, taking on a human heat. The friction dies, leaving just a quiet glide. A warm embrace, holding on the dark inside. I push the wood, feeling how the timber warms. A safe anchor weathering the quiet storms. The sticking stops, turning to a gentle flow. A woven piece showing where the lovers go. The timber wears, finding a familiar grace. A steady roll, taking up a quiet space. Season rolling pin, resting in the giving hand. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the dough I hold. A warm embrace better than the tales I told. Season rolling pin, resting in the giving hand. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the dough I hold. A warm embrace better than the tales are told. We used to ache, pushing on the rigid line. A stubborn lump waiting for a calm design. But steady touch polished up the wooden shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The comfort flows, traveling the private lane. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend. The trusted guard staying with me to the end. Roll the solid wood, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer stone softens into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize the comfort isn't earned art. A slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires flattening the rugged face to find the warmth hiding in the quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring. A custom frequency making the silence sing. Season rolling pin, keeping it, giving hand. Block the noise, I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the dough I hold. A warm embrace better than the tales are told. I am here.
Resting on a metal scope, a rigid ring giving us a narrow hope. We turned it hard, looking for a distant star. A stiff defense making all the heavens far. It fought the grip hiding in the blurry view. A stubborn shape offering a clouded hue. But working hours softened up the outer skin. A steady hold letting all the clarity in. The fingers pressed rubbing on the golden line. A quiet vow changing up a rough design. The surface sinks taking on a human shape. A perfect fit offering a safe escape. I turn the ring feeling how the metal warms. A quiet shield weathering the waking storms. The friction stops leaving where the visions flow. The brass adapts taking on a human heat. I turn you slow knowing that the edge is gone. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built lock. A stubborn jam hitting on a solid rock, but steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet vow washing out the early pain. The heaven shines holding to a sweet perfume. I turn it slow, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the metal slide, smell the quiet trace. Step into the clear as the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild. A peaceful state letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain to find a star hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the grip knowing it will never stick. A tailor bond matching up without a trick. Let it slide. Quiet shield, taking up a given space. Turn you slow, knowing that the edge is gone. Warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. The grip is smooth, the star is clear. We are safe.
A metal arm sitting on a white face. A quiet guard acting in the measured space. We watched it move, sweeping out a forward line. It marked the hour, securing the soon design. It marked the hour, securing the heavy room. But changing paths added an unseen collide. The tragic move closing up the darker side. The center bind splitting in a jagged crack. A broken tool falling on the sliding track. The turning stops leaving like a missing bird. I try to watch, holding an uneven dial. A futile act begging for a quick denial. Yeah. The metal snaps freezing in a heavy hold. Ooh. The dusty mass matching with the winter cold. The ticking binds drop into a frozen state. A silent end, closing up in 9 days. Snap clock hand failing on the numbered frame. I watch the brass freezing in the bitter wind. A physical reflection of the lies we sin. You cannot draw meaning with a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Snap clock hand failing on the numbered frame. I watch the brass freezing in the bitter wind. A physical reflection of the lies we sin. You cannot draw meaning with a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Yeah, we acted like moving was a simple task. A lasting line hiding in a wooden mast. But master strain separates a brittle grain. A sudden break bringing in a silent pain. The gear is split letting all the magic flee. A useless stick floating on a silent sea. I try to read asking for an echoing tone. A miserable failure sitting in the dark alone. Touch the jagged tear, hear the hollow sound. Fail to find the time, fail to find the ground. The fracture is a poison to an empty room. A tragic end leading to a quiet doom. I realize that forcing on a broken wood is asking for a magic that we never could. Love requires holding to a turning wheel to magnify the volume of the things we feel. We press the brass, freezing in a bitter draft, and ruined all the motion in a careless craft. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Snap clock hand failing on the numbered frame. Let it break. I watch the brass freezing in the bitter wind. The hand is snapped. The time is cold. I am done.
Copper tip. A copper tip, heating in a heavy stand. A quiet route waiting for a guiding hand. We plugged it in looking for a melting wire. It moved along passing through the broken board. But reckless days burned away the binding coat. It twisted mess bringing down a sinking boat. The iron snacks catching on a heated hook. A dark stain bleeding on a closing book. The silver drops falling on a jagged spot. A ruined text tangled in a bitter knot. I press a wire hoping for a moving line. A failed attempt breaking an unsure design. The surface jams freezing in a solid block. A broken string ticking on a silent clock. The copper burns tying up a heavy knot. A dark stain bleeding on a single spot. Burns, soldering tip catching on the metal gear. A tragic stop raising up a silent fear. I strike the board looking at a heavy stain. A physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot fuse edges when the metal died. I stare at the disaster with the words of high. Burns, soldering tip catching on the metal gear. A tragic stop raising up a silent fear. I strike the board looking at a heavy stain. A physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot fuse edges when the metal died. I stare at the disaster with the words of high. We acted like fusing was a given right. A steady stream pushing through the lonely night. But tangled threads paralyze an empty page. A tragic act halting on a hollow stage. The heat has stopped drowning in an ocean spill. A ruined word hiding what we truly feel. I try to pull hoping for a working space. A bitter end hiding in a quiet place. Touch the back and I hear the metal hit. Feel to move the line. Rush the logic quick. The tangle is a poison to a moving text. The silent ghost cursing what is coming next. I realize that pushing on a tangled thread is wasting all the logic of the words we said. Love requires movement that is smooth and light to navigate the turning of a heavy night. We jammed the tool breaking an essential tie and ruined all the function of a shared sky. I left my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Burn, soldering tip, let it burn. Catching on the metal gear, let it burn. A tragic stop, walk away, raising up a silent fear. I strike the board, looking at a heavy stain. A physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot fuse edges when the metal died. I leave the dark silence where the words have high. The tip is black. The wire is cold. I am done.
A wooden grip resting on an iron base. We pushed it hard, riding on a rough terrain. It shaved the wood, making an even floor. A heavy block waiting by the studio door. But passing days rubbed away the rigid grain. A steady hand washing out an early pain. The timber yields taking on a human heat. The friction dies, leaving on the dark inside. The timber adapts, finding a familiar grace. A steady push, taking up a quiet space. Smooth handplane Tote, resting on a steady base. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the work I hold. The warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Smooth handplane Tote, resting on a steady base. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the work I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the wind. stubborn form, acting as a cold design, but steady weight polished up the heavy skin. A quiet shift letting all the comfort in. The motion flows, traveling a private lane. I close my eyes feeling how the edges bend. A trusted guard, staying with me to the end. Push the solid wood, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer high softens into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort isn't earned art, a slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires shifting to a given mode to find the warmth hiding in the dark and cold. We let the shape alter to a perfect fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. Smooth, plain, so keep it here. Yourself fit into the work I hold. A warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. Ooh, the wood is smooth, the pain is gone. I am here.
Woven belt hanging on a heavy case, a rigid band taking up a quiet space. We put it on carrying a heavy load, a stiff defense walking on a winding road. It bit the skin, leaving an uneven mark, a stubborn form hiding in the morning dark. But passing miles softened up the woven thread, a steady weight following the words we said. The fabric bends taking on a gentle curve, a safe embrace calming down an anxious nerve. The stiffness fades, melting in a human heat. I take the strap, feeling how the cotton yields. A quiet guard resting in the open fields. The friction stops, leaving a familiar trace. A woven piece finding unexpected grace. The cotton folds taking on the subtle bend. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the way. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Soften canvas strap, resting on a given arm. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the way. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. We used to fight, finding where the pieces lock. A stubborn jam hidden on a solid rock, but steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet vow, washing out the early pain. The fabric shines, holding to a sweet perfume. I turn it slow, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond, resting on the living flesh. Feel the fabric slide, hear the quiet trace. Step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain, to find the song hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the grip knowing it will never stick, a tailored bond matching up without a trick. Soften canvas strap, let it slide, on it, giving all. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is
A silver knot sitting on a metal wheel, a cold design hiding what the drivers feel. We push the wrench hoping for a solid bind, a heavy task occupying half the mind. The turn gripping on an iron thread, a firm response following the words we said. Reckless force ruined all the inner gear, a sudden slip waking up a silent fear. The metal strips break, kicking in the jagged line, a broken lock ruining a secure design. The silver spins catching on an empty space, a useless turn sitting in a quiet place. I twist the wrench asking for a holding bite, a failed attempt fading in the hollow night. The tension drops leaving an uneven hold, a dusty mess matching with the winter cold. The silver spins drop into a useless state, a silent end closing up an iron gate. Lug Nut falling on the metal thread, a tragic end ruining the words we said. I watch wrench turning in an empty spin, a physical reflection of the state I am in. You cannot lock motion when the grip is gone. I stare at the disaster of an empty dawn. Lug Nut falling on the metal thread, a tragic end ruining the words we said. I watch wrench turning in an empty spin, a physical reflection of the state I am in. You cannot lock motion when the grip is gone. I stare at the disaster of an empty dawn. We acted like forcing was a given right, a steady stream pushing through the lonely night. But ruined threads paralyze a working day, a tragic act halting at a bit of fate. The drop stop drowning in a rigid chill, a ruined slot hiding what we truly feel. I try to pull hoping for a working space, a bitter end hiding in a quiet place. Touch the blackened knot, hear the metal hit, fail to move the line, watch the logic quit. The tangle is a poison to a moving stream, a silent ghost cursing what is coming next. I realize that pushing on a broken frame is wasting all the logic of a waking game. Love requires turning with a smooth release to navigate the turning of a sudden peace. We jammed the gear, breaking an essential tie, and ruined all the function of a shared sky. I lift my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken place. Lug Nut falling on the metal thread, let it spin, a tragic end in the words we said. Walk away. I watch the wrench turning in an empty spin, a physical reflection of the state I am in. You cannot lock motion when the grip is gone. I leave the dark silence of an empty dawn. The nut is stripped, the turn is dead, I am done. A silver bit spinning in a heavy chuck, a rigid line pushing on a sudden luck. We drove it in looking for a hidden space. It cut the wood, leaving out a flying dust. A sharp attack, breaking through a quiet crust. But heavy hands added an uneven weight, a tragic move closing up a given gate. The center break snapping, falling on the sliding track. The spinning stops, leaving up a heavy toll. I try to pull, holding an uneven piece, a futile act begging for a quick release. The metal divides, slipping from a heavy hold, the dusty mess matching with the winter cold. The silver snaps, dropping to the wooden floor, a silent end closing up an iron door. Snap, drill, bit, failing in the quiet room, a tragic end opening a silent doom. I watch the steel breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot bore meaning with the broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Snap, drill, bit, failing in the quiet room, a tragic end opening a silent doom. I watch
watch the steel breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot bore meaning with the broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Running was an endless gift, a lasting force hiding in a quiet shift. But sudden shocks compromise an entire base. A sudden fall sitting in a quiet place. The lines divide, slipping from a tension hold. A broken tool shivering in winter cold. I try to stare, hoping for a steady ring. A bitter end written on a lifeless string. Touch the broken steel, hear the silver slide. Fail to find the grip, fail to find a guide. The tension leaving an empty space. I realize that resting on a fragile thread is wasting all the logic of the words we said. Love requires holding to a balanced tide. Elevate the nature of a shared sky. We snapped the bit, pushing past the limit sign, and ruined all the function of a shared design. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken place. Feeling in the quiet room, let it fall. Feeling in the quiet room, walk away. I watch the steel breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot bore meaning with a broken core. I leave the slack hanging on a broken day. The bit is dead, the hole is blocked, I am done.
A silver wheel sitting on a wooden frame. We turned it hard, searching through the heavy noise. It caught the skin showing in uneven grain. The harsh pines hiding in a static ring. But passing years soften up the rigid edge. A steady hand resting on a quiet ledge. The metal yields taking on a human heat. A subtle curve moving to a mellow beat. The friction dies, leaving just a quiet glide. I turn the knob, feeling how the silver warms. A safe anchor weathering the quiet storms. The static stops, turn into a gentle flow. A woven piece showing where the signals go. The metal wears finding a familiar grace. The steady turn taking up a quiet space. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the hands I hold. A warm embrace better than the tales are told. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the hands I hold. A warm embrace better than the tales are told. We used to ache, pushing on a rigid wall. A stubborn line waiting for a heavy fall. But steady touch polished up the silver shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The music flows, traveling a private lane. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend. A trusted guard staying with me to the end. Rub the solid wheel, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer stone softens into something mild. The peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort is an earned art. A slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polish in a rugged face. to find the warmth hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. I hold you close knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shake yourself, fit into the hands I hold, a warm embrace better than the tales are told. The wheel is smooth, the fear is gone, I am here.
A wooden arm lifting on a hidden stage, a felted head acting in a working cage. We struck the string, looking for a ringing tone. It felt unsure, hidden with a sudden bite, but passing days softened up the outer felt. A steady touch working in a quiet spell. The fabric spreads, rubbing on the metal line. A quiet vow, changing up a rough design. The surface yields, taking on a wider shape. A perfect hit, offering a safe escape. I hear the chord, feeling how the timber warms. A quiet shield, weathering the waking storms. The sharp attack turn into a glowing hum, a trusted guide beating like a gentle drum. The fabric adapts, taking on human heat. A steady grind, moving to a mellow beat. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. We used to fight, finding where the pieces lock. A stubborn jam hitting on a solid rock, but steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet vow, washing out the early pain. The vessel shines, holding to a sweet perfume. My turn is slow, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the fabric slide, smell the quiet trace. Step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that striking was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain to find a peace hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hear the note, knowing it will never bite. A tailored bond matching up without a trick. The felt is so soft. Touch. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past, a fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. The fountain song, the note is warm. We are safe.
A plastic tube sitting in the golden pen, a silent dark waiting for the words of men. We feel the bass letting all the letters rise, a daily task hidden from the passing eyes. It drank the wet, softening the paper fold. A quiet mist holding back the winter cold, but passing days emptied at the hidden well. A silent drought breaking up the human spell. The liquid drops vanished in the heated air, a brittle crust forming on the edges there. The dark stains spread across the plastic bone, a quiet that suffered in the dark alone. I touched the tip, feeling how the surface breaks. A rigid wall floating on an empty lake. The moisture leaves drying out the given space. A crumbled shell sitting in a forgotten place. The liquid crushed solid and the moisture flees. A barren wind blowing through the dying trees. Dried ink cartridge clicking in a hollow shell. A rigid block acting as a broken bell. I try to write letters but the paper tears. A physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw words from a barren stone. Now watch the dust falling from the brittle bone. Dried ink cartridge clicking in the hollow shell, clicking in the hollow shell. A rigid block acting as a broken bell, acting as a broken bell. I try to write letters but the paper tears, but the paper tears. A physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw words from a barren stone. Now watch the dust falling from the brittle bone. We acted like writing was an endless stream, a foolish thought built upon a waking dream. But dry neglect hardens every open pore, a stiff defense locking up a heavy door. The tool is trapped, dying in a barren frame, a ghost of wetness waiting for the absent rain. I try to draw water but the fibers fail, a bitter end written in a tragic tale. Touch the rigid crust, hear the surface snap, watch the pieces fall, close the empty trap. The dryness is a poison to a gentle heart, a bitter dissolution of a moving part. I realize it's starving an essential core, it's killing all the life behind a closed door. Love requires water that is pure and deep, to keep the breath steady in a quiet sleep. We left the pen empty in a careless phase, and ruined all the softness of the early days. I drop my dry fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Acting as a broken bell. Walk away. I try to write letters, but the paper tears, the paper tears. A physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw words from a barren stone. I leave the dust falling from the brittle bone. The tube is dry, the ink is broke, I am done. Glass bulb standing on a metal base. We turn the dial, setting up a steady hum.
but heavy hands pushed upon the fragile wire. A careless surge feeding the destructive fire. The glass yields, snapping to a breaking point. A sudden pop, severing the joint. A broken line falling on a silent clock. I try to play vinyl on the empty deck. A useless task got into the massive wreck. The current fails, lacking an essential guide. A hollow space opening a vast divide. The vacuum snaps, leaving an unsteady plane. A silent room waiting for the sound in vain. Shattered vacuum tube falling on the heavy board. I try to play music but the power hides. You cannot boost echoes when the glass is gone. I stare at the disaster of the broken dawn. Shattered vacuum tube falling on the heavy board. I try to play music but the power hides. You cannot boost echoes when the glass is gone. I stare at the disaster of the broken dawn. We acted like music was a constant given, a lasting force, keeping all the errors hidden. But massive strain paralyzes every gear. A sudden break canceling the passing year. The amp is trapped, sitting in a silent frame. I used to sparks playing in a losing game. I try to force volume to a spinning groove. A miserable failure of a desperate move. Touch the broken glass, hear the static slide. Fail to find the core, fail to find the guide. The fracture is a poison to a spinning art. A tragic cancellation of a beating heart. I realize I'm leaning on a fragile wire. It's ruining the center of a steady fire. Love requires balance that is smooth and light to navigate the current of a heavy night. We pushed the bolt, breaking a vital tie, and ruined all the function of a shared sky. I left my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken plate. Shattered vacuum tube falling on the heavy fire. Tragic music but the power hides. You cannot boost echoes when the glass is gone. I leave the cold metal and the broken dawn. The bulb is broke. The sound is dead. I am done.
A wooden piece resting on a checkerboard. A quiet night acting as a silent lord. We picked it up, planning out a forward move. A rigid block sitting in an unsure groove. It bore a crown, carrying a pointed ear. A stubborn shape hiding the familiar fear. But passing games polished up the wooden base. A steady hand putting it inside a space. The surface shines, losing all the rigid grain. A quiet touch washing out in early pain. The timber warms, taking on a human heat. A subtle curve moving to a mellow beat. I lift the wood, feeling a familiar glide. A woven piece living on the dark inside. And sliding stops, finding a protected square. A trusted friend waiting in the open air. The timber adapts, finding the familiar grills. A steady move taken as a quiet space. I place you down, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shape yourself, fit into the moves I hold. A warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. Polished chestnuts sliding on a checker field. A tailor fit acting as a quiet shield. I place you down, knowing knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the moves I hold, a warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. Finding where the logic ends, a stubborn block testing out the closest friends. But steady hands polished up the rigid skin, a quiet shift letting all the comfort in. The marker shines holding to a sweet perfume, a steady rhythm sitting in a quiet room. I take the turn, feeling how the pieces mesh, a woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the timber slide, smell the quiet trace, step into the warm rest, the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild, a peaceful state letting us be reconciled. I realized the friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rigid hide to find the warmth resting on the dark inside. We let the years wear away the outer shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I'll hold the night knowing it would never stick, a tailored bond matching up without a trick. Polished chestnut sliding on a checkered field, keep it near, fit acting as a quiet shield. Lock the noise, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the moves I hold, a warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. The war is set, ooh. The wood is warm, ooh. We are safe.
A leather band wrapping around a heavy bit, a rigid hole waiting for a quiet fit. We pulled the strap hoping for a gentle guide, a stiff defense pushing on the countryside. It bit the palm, leaving an uneven mark, a stubborn hide hiding in the morning dark. But moving miles softened up the heavy thread, a steady hand following the words we said. The fabric bends taking on a gentle curve, a safe embrace. The stiffness fades, melting in a human heat. I take the rein, feeling how the leather yields, a quiet guard resting in the open fields. The friction stops, leaving a familiar trace, a woven piece finding an expected grace. The leather folds taking on a subtle bend. Oh, I hold you close, knowing that the pull is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the pace. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. I hold you close, knowing that the pull is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the pace. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. We used to ache pushing on a rigid wall, a stubborn line waiting for a heavy fall. But steady touch polished up the leather shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The motion flows traveling a private line. I close my eyes feeling how the edges bend, the trusted guard staying with me to the end. Rub the solid hide, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer fabric softens into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort is an earned art, a slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing a rugged face, to find the warmth hiding in a dark and cold. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. I hold you close, knowing that the pull
arch standing on a hollow chest. We tuned the wire, asking for a heavy string. It held the line, carrying a singing bow. A rigid block telling where the notes go. Yeah. But constant weight pushed up on a brittle frame. A tragic move playing in the losing game. The center snaps breaking in the jagged line. A ruined wood crushing the secure design. They try to play resting on a broken crest. A failed attempt falling in a bitter test. The music dies slipping from a heavy hold. A dusty mess matching with the winter cold. The timber snaps drop into a silent state. A broken string closing up an iron gate. I watched the wood breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot play music with a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. I watched the wood breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot play music with a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. We acted like tension was an endless stream. A foolish thought built upon a waking dream. But sudden fall shatter every open pore. A stiff defense locking up a heavy door. The tool is trapped dying in the barren frame. A ghost of music waiting for an absent flame. I try to bow hoping for a ringing tale. A bitter end written on an empty scale. Touch the broken wood, hear the surface snap. Watch the pieces fall, close the empty trap. I realize the starving and essential core is killing all the life behind a closed door. Love requires balance that is pure and deep. To keep the breath steady in the quiet sleep. We let the art shatter in a careless phase. It ruined all the softness of the early days. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. I watch the wood breaking in a sudden snap. You cannot play music with a broken chord. I leave the slide hanging on the wooden floor. Broke, the sound is gone, I am done. A brass weight hanging in a wooden case. A moving bob ticking in the measure space. Wound the gear, setting up a steady swing. Held the time, acting like a faithful friend. A rigid block waiting for a giving in. But hidden damn box of dice, the golden shine. A sudden rust ruining a calm design. The metal binds catching on the wooden back. A tragic stop falling on a rigid track. The ticking hearts freezing in an awkward phase. A dying clock forgetting all the passing days. I try to push, asking for a forward pace. A failed attempt sitting in a quiet place. The motion stops, drop into a rigid chill. A broken hour hiding what we truly feel. The brass weight binds, tying up a heavy knot. A silent stop, freezing on a single spot. Rusted pendulum bob, catching on a wooden wall. I strike the glass, looking at a heavy stain. You cannot count moments when the swing is tight.
is a constant given, a lasting force keeping all the errors hidden. But massive rust paralyzes every gear, a sudden break cancelling a passing gear. The weight is trapped sitting in the silent frame, a useless displaying in the losing game. I try to force rhythm to a spinning groove, a miserable failure of a desperate move. Touch the broken brass, hear the metal squeak. Fail to find the beat, fail to find a guide. The friction is a poison to a spinning heart, tragic cancellation of a beating heart. I realize that leaning on a rusted pin is ruining the center that the love is in. Love requires balance that is smooth and light. We push the weight, break in the vital time, ruined all the function of a shared sky. I lift my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Rusted pendulum Bob, let it catch me on whipping wall. Walk away straight to glass, looking at a heavy stain. You cannot count moments when the swing is tight. I leave the cold metal in the time that died. The weight is jammed, the clock is dead. I am done.
We opened it, hoping for a starting page. A thought, the hand pushing back an open seam, a stubborn fold, hiding a familiar dream. But passing days softened up the outer skin, a steady hold letting all the stories in. The cover bends, taking on a gentle curve, a stiffness fades. I close the book, feeling how the leather yields, a quiet guard resting in the open fields. The friction stops, leaving a familiar trace, a woven piece finding unexpected grace. The leather folds, taking on a subtle bend. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the words I hold, a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the words I hold, a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. To fight, finding where the pages part, a stubborn block, testing out a quiet heart. But steady hands polished up the rigid skin, a quiet shift, letting all the comfort in. I turn the page, feeling how the pieces mesh, a woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the leather slide, smell the quiet trace, step into the warm rest, the weary face, the harsh resistance melted into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a symbol simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rigid hide to find the warmth resting on the dark inside. We let the years wear away the outer shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the book knowing it will never stick, a tailored bond matching up without a trick. I hold you close knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself fitting to the words I hold, a warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. The book is closed, the hide is warm, we are safe.
We pushed it through, looking for a bounded thread. It caught the yarn, pulling with a stubborn bite. A rough timber hiding in the winter night. But spinning hours rubbed away the heavy ridge, the steady glide acting as a quiet bridge. The surface yields, taking on a gentle gleam. The sharp attacks melted into something round. I throw the wood, feeling how the tension fades. A safe anchor hiding in the twilight shades. The cotton binds turning to a gentle glide, a woven piece living on the dark inside. The timber adapts, finding a familiar grace, a steady throw taking up a quiet space. I hold you down knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself fitting to the weave I hold, a warm embrace better than the tales are told. I hold you down knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself fitting to the weave I hold, a warm embrace better than the tales are told. We used to ache, pushing on a rigid wall, a stubborn line waiting for a heavy fall. But steady touch polished up the wooden shell, a quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The cotton flows, traveling a private line. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend, a trusted guard staying with me to the end. Throw the solid wood, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer timber softened into something mild, peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort is an earned art, a slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing the rugged face to find the warmth hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. I hold you down knowing that
resting by an iron grate. We pumped the wood, looking for a sudden spark. It held the wind, offering a steady stream. But autumn heat dried upon the sleeping skin, a tragic drought forming in a sudden sin. The leather breaks, pushing on a rigid hold. A quiet death suffered in the winter cold. The folding snaps, leaving an uneven shell. A broken line falling from a silent bell. I pumped the wood, listening to a rushing hiss. A failed attempt, falling in a dark abyss. The air escapes, making a discordant thud. A ruined lung sinking in the heavy mud. The leather divides, opening a sudden hole. A failing breath, losing all the self-control. Cracked leather bellows, resting on the hearth outside. A broken lung, failing as a steady guide. I hear the wind leaking from a tight embrace. You cannot grow fires when the draft is gone. I stare at the disaster of an empty dawn. Cracked leather bellows, resting on the hearth outside. A broken lung, failing as a steady guide. I hear the wind leaking from a tight embrace. You cannot grow fires when the draft is gone. I stare at the disaster of an empty dawn. We acted like breathing was an endless hold. A lasting tune keeping out the winter cold. But silent drought compromises an entire base. A sudden fall, sitting in a quiet place. The folds divide, slipping from a twisted lock. A broken tool offering a blank attack. I try to fan, hoping for a holding ring. A bitter end written on a lifeless string. Touch the broken hide, hear the air escape. Fail to find the grip, fail to find a shape. The tension left, leaving an empty space. A tragic void sitting in a quiet place. I realize that resting on a fragile shell is wasting all the logic of the words we tell. Love requires holding to a solid tie to elevate the nature of a shared sky. We let the drought push past the limit line and ruin all the function of a shared design. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Cracked leather bellows, resting on the hearth outside. Let it fall, a broken lung, failing as a steady guide. I hear the wind leaking from a tight embrace. You cannot grow fires when the draft is gone. I leave the ash hanging on an empty dawn. The hide is snapped, the fire is dead. I am done. A silver arm resting in a waiting row. A quiet key waiting for a steady blow.
We struck the pad, sending out a flying steel, a loud impact showing what the writers feel. It bore the ink offering, a steady mark, a safe cover printing. In the morning dark, but heavy hands struck upon an angry key, a brutal block following a bitter sea. The metal bends curling from a steady strike. The letters spike, the letters spike. The letter stops pulling from the center line, a broken core writing an unhappy tale. I watch the gap opening, a darkened space, a failing guard sitting in a quiet place. The moving jams dropping to the inside floor, a broken seal waiting by an open door. The metal gives, failing as a steady arm, a silent break taking all the quiet calm. Bent typewriter, type bar curling on a broken line. I feel the jam dropping from an open space. You cannot print stories with the bending steel. I leave the desk failing in the things I feel. Bent typewriter, type bar curling on a broken line. I feel the jam dropping from an open space. You cannot print stories with the bending steel. I leave the desk failing in the things I feel. We acted like writing was a given right, a lasting force keeping out the winter night. But heavy strikes separate a bonded grain, a sudden bend bringing in a silent rain. The arm is bent, letting all the ladders fall, a useless block floating on a broken wall. I try to type, asking for a holding seal, a miserable failure of the things I feel. Touch the curling steel, hear the metal jam, fail to find the warmth, fail to find the calm. The temper is a poison to a failing room, a tragic end leading to a quiet doom. I realize that resting on a bending string is asking for a letter from a closing ring. Love requires holding to an airtight seal to magnify the comfort of the things we feel. We left the key roasting in a bitter draft and ruined all the story in a careless craft. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Bent typewriter, type bar curling on a broken line. I feel the jam